Howdy everyone, and welcome back to the Luna Geeks Out channel. Apologies for the infrequency with uploads as of late. It's, final season with school and everything, so it's been a little crazy around here. I haven't had much time to spare, but hey, we're knocking a few out this final week before I head off on a short vacation, and today we are checking out something which should be very good. ATARASHII GAKKO's performance of OTONABLUE. Apologies if I'm mispronouncing that. On the first take. And now, as an aside, I've not actually heard the original song yet. They did recently put out a music video for that. For whatever reason, I decided not to put that on the reactions list. So, if y'all want me to check that out, let me know down in the comments, and I'll add it to the request list. But anyways, yeah, checking this out. The first take stuff I've heard so far from a few different artists, both as far as reactions go, and just on my own time, has been quite nice. It's a cool little thing they're doing, and then ATARASHII GAKKO, of course, are a fantastic group. So I fully expect this to be some great stuff, so without further ado, let's hop into it. So expected of a little bit of a silliness at the beginning. I have no idea what's happening right now. I have no idea what's happening right now. There's probably captions I could turn on to see what they're saying, but where's the fun in that? OTONABLUE. Fun little beats and great vocals. This is a fun little beat. I was certainly hoping for something more than the baby metal stuff I've heard, or it's that sort of stripped down version, but this do be nice. Cool little synth there. Their voices are blending together really nicely there. Yeah, I like that little synth there. Yeah, the voices really do blend together really nicely there. I like that right there. And a nice little just pure vocal moment right there. That was super cool.
Thank you.
Right, alright, that was pretty good.
新しい学校のリーダーズでした。ありがとうございました。
Still going. Okay, there we go. Man, just kept on going. Yeah, that was pretty good, pretty good. I'm imagining that was probably very close to what the original song is. Just of course, live in studio vocals. So probably not worth checking out the original in that instance, since I imagine there's probably not that much of a difference. If it is like the original is very different, do let me know and I'll check it out. But if it's basically just this, just with studio, like proper. What's the phrase I'm looking for? Like proper studio vocals. So, there's a phrasing I'm looking for. I'm losing it. I'll check it out. But if it's basically just, I'm losing my mind here. Let me completely re-say this. If the original song is basically this, just with like proper in-studio vocals, not really worth checking out. If the original song is quite different, then let me know and I will check it out. There we go. Okay, yeah, no, that was good. Before we get into the review, let's talk about the lyrics. And for the circle analysis section, I should give two quick disclaimers. One much more important than the other. And that important one is, for this lyrical analysis, we will be lightly touching upon some rather serious topics. I'm not entirely sure where the conversation is going to go. So they're edited on screen right now. If any of this stuff is too much for you, I do completely understand. And when we get to that section, there'll be a timestamp on screen that you can skip ahead to get past it. I'm not going to be going too in depth into this stuff, but there are a few reasons that I'm going to be touching upon it, which I'll explain when we get to it, of course. But wanted to give that warning. And then the other thing is, most of the lyrical analysis I do has been going through songs sort of line by line, pointing out every little thing and how it all ties together. This song just really isn't speaking to me on that sort of line-by-line basis, but I'm getting a lot of different ideas from it, so my analysis here is instead going to be talking about broader themes and pointing out the occasional line or occasional more specific idea within the song to grab that. So we're not going to be going too in-depth into what we specifically see in the song, but we are going to be discussing sort of the ideas we see in the song. So with that said, let's hop into the actual analysis section. And there's really three interpretations I'm seeing with this song, right? The surface level, the sort of immediate understanding is mentioned down here at the sort of note at the bottom on the Genius English translation. It describes an emotion of a girl who wants to be viewed as a mature adult that knows everything about love but is conflicted with their innocent teenage years and hence not being taken seriously. And I think there's a good amount of evidence to support that, right? You know, the song is... It is very much a love-focused song. It has some more, of course, mature lines, such as, "The lusty gazes entangle with me," and "I long for mature love," and right before that, "Not later, I want it right now," "I've yet to bloom, but I still pretend." I'm really just the entire chorus. That is not an incorrect interpretation at all. There is a lot to support that idea and a lot to grab with that idea. But a lot of songs tend to have a bit more going on, and certainly what I've seen from ATARASHII GAKKO in the past has had a bit more going on. Hanako, for example, which we checked out not too long ago, had, of course, that surface level idea of just, it's based on that sort of urban legend of the ghost, and you've got all these references to the folklore with that, but you've got different layers of, different storytelling lenses and such, right? This same thing happening. We've got this immediate level, but you look a little deeper and you can grab some different stuff. And on the line, "Walking alone on the streets, the lusty gazes entangle with me," there's an annotation that I'm not going to read in full, but there's an annotation that basically talks about how perhaps this song deals with the sexual assault of younger underage women and sort of the attitudes people have around that. The idea of like some questions posed in this annotation that people get asked: what were you wearing? You were asking for it. Things like that, right? Which, just as an aside, guys, do not victim blame when it comes to sexual assault. That's just horrible. It's just absolutely horrible. Like, regardless of whether or not perhaps someone may not have been, thinking about a situation as much as they could have. Perhaps they could have been a bit more prepared or whatever. That doesn't mean that they're, like, giving the okay for stuff to happen. That doesn't mean that all of a sudden the person who assaulted them is blameless. No, it is ultimately the fault of the person who committed the assault. So for the love of God, don't do any victim blaming, especially not of, like, underage people, especially not of minors. Like, the fact that is a thing that happens is just horrifying, and I need to go on that rant real quick, but no, that is an interpretation that someone had of the song, and I do think there's enough to support this. That line right there, walking alone on the streets, the lusty gazes entangle with me, and again, that sort of idea of a younger person looking for something more mature, and there's a sense of sarcasm within this song, right? Looking at these lyrics, there's almost, I don't know if satire is quite the right word to use. I'm not too well versed in what constitutes as satire and what doesn't, but certainly I think a certain level of sarcasm within this. I think there's enough to support what this person is getting at with this idea, but I don't know, it's not quite speaking to me. Like, it's not something I would have grabbed if I hadn't read that annotation. It's something that I see it, and if I'm looking for it, I can sort of grab evidence to support that, but it just, I don't know, it doesn't quite feel right to me. And I think that's mostly just I'm looking at this through a different lens more than anything else. But, I got to thinking, well, what this sort of interpretation did is it caused me to think a little more critically about this, instead of just looking at that surface level reading, which, let's be honest, I tend to do. That's just how my mind works, how I tend to look at stuff, is that more surface level. It caused me to look at it a bit more critically and be like, alright, what is happening here? And I know I make comparisons to Sleep Token a lot, but bear with me for this tangent. So their first two albums, Sundowning and This Place Will Become Your Tomb, I can't speak on Taking Me Back to Eden yet because, of course, the full thing isn't out. I'm not sure how the story plays out over it, but their first two albums have some very clear stories within them, and they have an intro song, The Night Does Not Belong to God, on Sundowning, and Atlantic on This Place Will Become Your Tomb. And these songs don't directly tie into the stories we see on the album, right? But what they do is they set up a lot of the themes on the album through a specific lens. The Night Does Not Belong to God has the very specific lens of dementia, and it expresses the themes of, deterioration and the sort of trauma and pain that can come from a relationship, dealing with that, right? Tying into the sort of deterioration of the more romantic relationship we see on the album, and the trauma and pain that comes from that. And then Atlantic deals with a failed suicide attempt, expressing sort of the desire for release and the sort of emotional turmoil that we see throughout the album, where they're trying to recover from this lost relationship, and they desire for the release from the pain of that relationship, right? So what we see on those songs is a very specific lens expressing these broader themes. Now to tie back into this, that's what I see happening here, is we have the very specific lens of the desire a young person has for a more mature relationship, to express the broader theme of the idea that younger people wanting to be taken as adults, and to be treated like grown-ups, treated seriously, that kind of thing. Something that I think we can all understand and all relate to, right? there is that period where you're just enjoying being a kid, and then all of a sudden you want to be like the grown-ups, and then you get a little older, you mature a bit more, and you're like, hey, nothing wrong with being a bit younger, nothing wrong with holding on to a bit of your childishness and such. And so that's what I ultimately settled upon with this song, is that idea of sort of just the younger desire to be seen as more grown up, more adult, viewed through the specific lens of relationship and romance and all that, right? And like I said, not a lot to dive into with specific lines here, but there are a few different themes I saw with this that I just wanted to, I guess, ramble on about for a bit. So apologies for the somewhat less structured and somewhat less coherent analysis section today, but definitely an interesting song lyrically, and I would love to hear what y'all have to say on this one, what y'all's theories are, because I'm sure there's stuff that never even crossed my mind. I always love to hear what y'all have to say about different meanings behind stuff and everything, so yeah, comment down below, let me know what you have to say on the meaning here. But to shift into the not the lyrical analysis, the music review section, yeah, it was some good stuff. Starting off, vocals, fantastic. I mean, now ATARASHII GAKKO, what I've heard have always been some high quality vocals, but man, I was not expecting something that level of quality for more live vocals. I mean, sure, it's live in studio, so I'm sure there's some level of mixing going on and everything. It's not like a proper live performance in a concert, but like, man, that was some really high quality vocals for sure. That's absolutely incredible. I'm very pleased with those. I thought those were quite nice. So yeah, once again, just the vocals were fantastic. A few specific things. Oh, who was it on the lead vocals? Was that Suzuka? You'll have to forgive me. I'm not too familiar with the members yet. I'm slowly getting more well versed with ATARASHII GAKKO, but not there quite yet. I believe it was Suzuka on the lead in this track. Her vocals were fantastic, especially that where she sort of held on to Blue, and there's some slight little motion within that. I thought that was really cool. And then just in general, the other members who, unfortunately, I am completely forgetting their names, well, they didn't necessarily have any singular moments. I was like, whoa, that's really nice. I did quite like just the way their voices blended together, just in general. And then there's that section where it's like, they did the same vocal line, but it was like a slight delay for each of them. So it was like one of them would do it, and then the next one would do it, and the next one would do it. I thought that was really cool. I just thought that was a nice little, sort of effect, I suppose. So yeah, your vocals in this were fantastic. May actually be the best vocals I've heard from them so far. I'd have to go back and listen to what I've heard already from them to fully determine that, of course, but I thought the vocals were fantastic in this. Moving on, I'm just going to kind of randomly go through different pieces of music when I think of something. The drums in this, quite nice. Nothing that really stood out to me too much with them, but the whole time I was like, alright, these are pretty good. Not the craziest I've heard from them. I've certainly enjoyed them more in other ATARASHII GAKKO songs I've heard, but I thought here, high quality, good stuff, nothing to complain about for sure. I quite liked the drums in this. Bass, only picked up on it a couple different times, so it was good. Nothing much to say, but it was good. The electronics, the synths, all that, really fun. There's that one I pointed out a couple times that I really liked. Just in general, that was super fun. Really brought up the energy in this track. I quite liked that. And, see, I think there was a keyboard that popped up at a couple points. I might be going crazy with this one, and the next thing I'll talk about. If I am, I apologize, but I'm pretty sure there's some keyboard in here, and I remember enjoying it, and then I'm pretty sure there's some strings in here at a couple points as well, and I enjoyed those. So yeah, in general, just a fun song, a bit funky, slight, not quite jazz, but sort of a jazzy kind of sound, if that makes any sense. Yeah, super fun song, great beat, great groove to it. Had a fun time. I don't think my sort of reaction to this was as strong as it has been as of late, but that's mostly just because I am really tired of, just everything due to end of the semester and all that, so I was a little low on energy today, but, yeah, just in general, good stuff, super fun. So yeah, I had a good time checking this one out. But I am out of things to say on the track, so we're going to quickly discuss what we will be checking out next time. Normally we'd hop over to the picker wheel and take a look there. But the band Guitaric Spin, hopefully I'm getting that name right, have recently put out a new song, Kachi Kachi Yama, I believe it is. And they're hosting sort of a reaction competition to it. I still need to look back at the details. But it's a band I've been meaning to check out for a while now. They've been recommended to me by one of my friends for a good while. And not too long ago, I had one of their tracks requested to me, so I've been meaning to check them out for a good while now. And I figure this is as good a reason as any, right? A fun little competition. I think all it is the members are gonna then react to the reaction, which, let's be honest, isn't the greatest prize in the world or anything, but that's pretty cool. And I don't know, it just gives me an excuse to check out a group I've been meaning to more than anything else. So we'll be checking that out next time, and then it'll be back to normal schedule. However that'll play out over the next few weeks with a crazy schedule. But yeah, we'll be checking out that next time. Hopefully it's good. And then back to the normal schedule. But that is going to do it for the reaction, so thank you all for watching. Be sure to like if you liked, subscribe if you want to see more, and comment down below with your own thoughts on the track, any feedback or criticism, or anything you want me to react to. In the description, link to the performance so you can check it out, support the artist, link to my ATARASHII GAKKO videos playlist, my alt-idol reactions playlist, and my Japanese music reactions playlist, so you can check out some similar content from me, and then links to my Discord server, Instagram, Twitter, Spotify playlist of all the songs I've reacted to, at least the ones up on Spotify, and my link tree, which has my other stuff in it in case any of that interests y'all. Anyways, like I said, that's going to do it. So once again, thank you all for watching, and until next time, I'll be seeing ya.